what is much needed, health care and retirement benefits. And the course that we're on right now, Mr. Speaker, has created a scenario whereby they will be lost. That's why we're working to save it. It can only be done, I believe, Mr. Speaker, if we do it in a bipartisan way. With that, I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentlelady from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentlewoman from Maine, former member of Rules Committee, Ms. Pingree.
The gentlelady is recognized from Maine is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And thank you to my colleague from New York, former chair of the Rules Committee, who I had the privilege of serving under, for allowing me this time. I'm here today to speak against the rule and against the Republican budget. You know, last year was a good year for CEOs at America's biggest companies. The average CEO got a 12% raise and made about $10 million. And now the Republicans want to give that same CEO a 30% tax cut. That's right. While the average American family is struggling with gas prices that went up 93 cents in the last year, while working Americans tried to figure out how to afford health care or how to send their children to college, the Republicans have been busy trying to figure out how to cut taxes for CEOs by 1/3. Of course, you can't cut taxes that dramatically for the richest Americans without cutting spending somewhere else. Someone has to pay for tax cuts, and in the Republican budget, the people who pay the price are seniors and the middle class. Under their budget, seniors will pay when Medicare, as we know it, is ended and replaced with a voucher system that will be a windfall for insurance companies but will double health care costs for seniors. And the middle class will pay when deductions for home mortgages or health insurance are repealed to pay for those CEO tax cuts. Madam Speaker, Republicans simply have the wrong priorities, putting the burden of the budget on seniors and the middle class while giving big tax breaks to the wealthy and handing out handouts to insurance companies. I don't share those values. This is not a budget that serves the American people well. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from South Carolina.
We reserve our time, ma'am.
The gentleman reserves. The gentlelady from New York.
Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to yield 3 minutes to a gentleman from Massachusetts, member of the Committee on Rules, Mr. McGovern.
Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I rise in strong opposition to the Ryan budget before the House today. I'm pleased that the Rules Committee has made the submitted substitute budgets in order so that we can have a full debate on our nation's priorities over the next several years. And in my view, the Ryan budget represents exactly the wrong priorities. It would eliminate Medicare as we know it, forcing seniors to pay thousands of dollars more every year for their health care. It would bring back the donut hole, allow insurance companies to once again discriminate based on pre-existing conditions, and kick young people off their parents' insurance plans. It would slash needed investments in education, infrastructure, medical research, environmental protection, and hunger programs. And it would still result in deficits as far as the eye can see. And at the same time, the Ryan budget would give a massive tax cut to the wealthiest Americans. The top rate under the Ryan budget would be the lowest since 1931, which is appropriate, Madam Speaker, because this is a budget that only Herbert Hoover could love. Apparently, the Republican leadership of this House would like to reverse the last 80 years of social progress in this country. In short, I believe this budget would represent the largest redistribution of wealth from the middle class and the poor to the wealthy in American history. Now, some have called this approach trickle-down economics on steroids, but it's worse than trickle-down, Madam Speaker. It's gusher-up. Over the last several years, working families have been struggling to find a job, struggling to pay their mortgages, to pay their utility bills and their health care bills, struggling to put food on the table and put their kids through college. To them, the Republicans would say, tough luck. At the same time, the very wealthiest Americans and corporations have enjoyed record profits, and to them the Republicans would say, you need more help. As President Obama said so eloquently yesterday, that's not the America that I grew up in. That's not the America I want for my children and for my grandchildren. We can and we must do better. The Democratic alternative offered by Mr. Van Hollen is a sensible, practical, and most importantly, fair way to address our long-term fiscal challenges, while at the same time investing in our future. I urge my colleagues to support that alternative and to reject the Ryan budget. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from South Carolina.
We reserve our time.
Gentleman reserves. The gentlelady from New York.
Madam Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from New York, a member of the Budget Committee, and my New York colleague, Mr. Tonko.
The gentleman from New York is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, and I thank my colleague for yielding. Thank you, Madam Speaker. In the last week, I have twice offered an amendment to protect health care for seniors, veterans, and active-duty military and military families. And to my great disappointment, the Republican majority has twice blocked this effort. First in committee, where Republicans voted unanimously on a party-line vote to end Medicare, and again yesterday when the Republican leadership refused to allow this amendment to be heard, debated, and voted on in this chamber. I have twice asked my Republican colleagues to honor the Constitution. They must allow the democratically elected representatives of the American people to have an honest up or down vote on whether or not we support privatizing Medicare, a trend that could easily lead to similar privatized plans for the health coverage provided to our troops and veterans. For if they honestly believe that seniors will receive quality care at a more affordable price to the taxpayer, what's to stop them from going after TRICARE and the VA? My amendment will protect health care provided to seniors and the disabled from being privatized or being subject to arbitrary spending caps. It would extend the same protection to health coverage for active-duty military and their families as well as veterans. This amendment would protect Medicare, TRICARE, and VA health care from being eliminated and replaced with voucher or premium support programs. The road to ruin budget ends Medicare. This is a program that 46 million seniors and disabled individuals rely on for their health care. Rather than guaranteed benefits, seniors and the disabled will be left with a voucher or so-called premium support that by design cannot and will not keep up with rising health care costs. The private market views seniors as a risky and expensive investment. So too the disabled. So too military service members and veterans who have unique health needs earned through their sacrifice in service to America. The question before us today is not whether to reduce the deficit, but how. We have balanced the budget before without ending Medicare. We can do it again without the painful consequences that the Republican plan would initiate, where our seniors would pay 68 cents of every dollar of insurance required as compared to Congress paying 28 cents on every dollar. 46 million people rely on Medicare today. Even more will depend upon it in the future. Those many million deserve a vote, and that vote has been denied to them by the Republican leadership of the House. I yield back.
The gentleman from South Carolina.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Dole.
The gentleman from Illinois is recognized for 2 minutes.
I thank my colleague for yielding. And, Madam Speaker, I think it's time that we roll up our sleeves and get to work. I'm delighted that we're having this debate. We hear a lot about job creators and business owners. Well, I am a small business owner, and I know what this crushing federal debt does to small businesses all across our nation and to job creators as well. It reduces certainty and stability. It scares away private sector investment that leads to growth for our economy, and it crushes the hopes of job creation. Small businesses need to be able to forecast what their expenses will be in the long term. Small businesses are reluctant to take risks when they don't know what their costs will be in the future. And if you listen to what the President said from his speech just yesterday, he made it clear that his vision of the future includes taking money out of the pockets of small businesses and job creators by increasing taxes on these very small businesses. This is the President's plan for addressing the deficit. Increasing taxes on small businesses will have a devastating effect on job creation in this country. 2/3 of all net new jobs in our nation are created by small business. And 75% of those small businesses file their returns as an independent return on their individual tax forms. Rather than introduce the specter of uncertainty and increase taxes on our business community, we must instead make the choice to be relentless in our effort to support small businesses and actually encourage economic growth. Last week, Paul Ryan, the chairman of the House Budget Committee, put forward a budget that cuts $6.2 trillion over the decade, preventing the President's proposed tax increases from going into effect, and puts the nation on a fiscally sustainable path to give job creators and entrepreneurs all across the country the confidence to grow their business, to invest, and to create jobs. Federal deficits, Madam Speaker, have ballooned over the last 3 years, and this budget blueprint for the fiscal year 2012 starts to repair the damage and takes the serious steps to put ourselves on a path to paying off that debt and reducing our deficits.
The gentleman's time has expired. Without objection, the gentleman from Massachusetts, Mr. McGovern, controls the time.
Madam Speaker, at this time I'd like to yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Andrews.
The gentleman from New Jersey is recognized for 2 minutes. Without objection.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. We need to work together to change America, to stop borrowing so much money and jeopardizing the future of our country. We agree on that. But it's important that we understand that it's not the way to do that to end Medicare. And here's what ending Medicare means to the seniors and disabled people of this country. Today, if a person on Medicare has a medical problem, they choose their doctor. The doctor and the patient decide what should happen next. And Medicare pays the lion's share of the bill. This is a system that works for America's seniors and works for America's disabled. How do the Republicans want to change Medicare and end Medicare? Here's what they want to do. You won't choose your doctor. The insurance company will. If your doctor decides that a certain test or procedure or surgery is necessary, he or she will have to ask the insurance company's permission to get that test done. And the bill won't be paid by Medicare. The bill will be paid by the insurance company when they feel like it, if they feel like it, to the amount that it should. The Congressional Budget Office has looked at this issue at the request of Chairman Ryan and concluded that by the end of the implementation of this plan, seniors will pay an extra $6,000 a year out of pocket for health care expenses. $6,000 a year, $500 a month, $125 a week, beyond what they're paying right now for health care. We will stand for Medicare. We will not stand for this budget. We will defeat it. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from South Carolina.
We reserve our time.
The gentleman reserves. The gentlelady from New York.
Madam Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Doggett.
The gentleman from Texas is recognized for 2 minutes.
This Republican budget does offer a path to prosperity. Unfortunately, it's China's prosperity. For America, they offer a fast track to mediocrity, a descent into economic insecurity. It's the wrong path to global competitiveness. It's not that the level of our debt or the size of our tax rates is unimportant. It's that when you have such a narrow focus that you talk about little else, you forget America's other competitive strengths. Our workforce, the need to invest to ensure the strongest and best educated workforce anywhere in the world. Our infrastructure that allows American businesses to prosper across our country. And it's also about preserving a broad middle class so that more Americans share in the bounty of this country instead of going to some third world extreme where all the wealth is concentrated to those at the top of the ladder. Today we have to choose. Instead of eliminating $4 billion from early education and student financial assistance so that students can achieve all of their God-given potential, why not ask General Electric to at least pay the level of taxes that the mail clerks that work for it pay? Get $4 billion there. Instead of eliminating $3 billion from our crumbling roads and bridges, why not ask those giant corporations that currently get a $3 billion annual deduction when they borrow money to build a factory overseas without recognizing any of the income from that factory to begin to pay their fair share? And instead of accepting this Republican nonsense that we have to have more tax breaks for the very wealthy in our country, why not use the same money to ensure a little dignity for our seniors in nursing homes across the country? We need to stop exporting jobs and manufacturing and exporting our tax revenues overseas and begin developing a more competitive workforce right here in America. Do you have another 10 seconds?
I yield the gentleman 10 seconds.
I will yield my time, but I will never yield to those Republicans who don't demand any sacrifice from Wall Street and all those big bonus recipients and demand the rest of us to pay for balancing their budget. oppose this Republican budget.
Gentleman from South Carolina.
Madam Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Langford.
Gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized for 1 minute.
Ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
I sit and listen to the conversation and the debate, and it's as if we're reading two entirely different documents. I feel like for Republicans are being portrayed as if they're going to have a horn grow out of their heads and immediately rush into homes and jerk out the poor and those that are in Social Security and the needy. If you read through the document, we're dealing with two central issues. The first of those issues is $14 trillion in debt. Now, we can ignore that fact, or we can begin to take on and make serious decisions and have serious adult conversations. $14 trillion in debt. The second issue that we take on is this one simple principle. Do we have a spending problem or do we have a tax problem in America? In other words, do we need to tax a lot more or do we need to spend less? And I think if you look at the rate of how we've been spending in America versus how we're taxing in America, you would say we have a spending issue. And in our current time, there's all these statements that are being made about Republicans want to protect the corporations. Republicans want to be able to give all these benefits to the wealthy. Here's what we want to do with the tax rate. Leave it where it is now. That's not a 30% cut. That's not anything else. Where it is right now, that's the rate that we need to keep. So I yield back. Thank you.
Time has expired. Gentlelady from New York.
Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Connolly.
The gentleman from Virginia is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank my good friend from New York. Madam Speaker, I rise on behalf of the seniors in my community. Before we enacted Medicare in 1965, almost half of all seniors in our country had no health insurance coverage. That's why the creation of Medicare was so important. And now every one of America's seniors has access to quality health care coverage. But today their care is at risk and under assault. The America we enjoy as the result of the lifetimes of hard work by our seniors. And as they enter their well-deserved retirements, there are those who would callously rip away the commitment this nation made to them. The Republican budget for fiscal year 2012 is a path to the past and will return us to the dark days when seniors agonized over access to health care. The Republican budget ends the guaranteed coverage of Medicare and replaces it with a grossly inadequate voucher system, subjugating seniors once again to the whims of private insurance companies and forcing them to bear the brunt of spiraling health care costs by themselves. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office said seniors in 2030 would pay 3 times more for coverage under the Republican plan. The Republican budget reopens the donut hole in Medicare Part D, forcing seniors once again to pay thousands of dollars of out-of-pocket expenses for prescription drug medication. I was proud to fix that inequity and eliminate the donut hole last year, but the path to the past brings it back, roaring back, costing seniors thousands more. But this Republican budget isn't just a cost-shifting trick to transfer the financial burden onto seniors, though it is that. The Republicans would also repeal the important reforms prohibiting insurers from denying coverage for pre-existing conditions. That puts every single senior with pre-existing conditions at risk, even those who can afford the increased costs of privatized care they would find themselves in with the Republican plan. The path to the past needs to be rejected, Madam Speaker, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from South Carolina.
We reserve our time.
Reserves. The gentlelady from New York is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to yield 2 minutes to one of our new members, the gentleman from Rhode Island, Mr. Sizzling.
The gentleman from Rhode Island is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you. I thank the gentlelady from New York. I rise in opposition to this rule and against this budget. This Republican budget no longer honors our commitment to our seniors and doesn't reduce our deficit. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says that the Republican plan will add $8 trillion to the deficit over the next decade because the proposed cuts in spending are outpaced by gigantic tax cuts for the richest Americans. And you also can't say you care about seniors and then fight to enact policies that hurt seniors. Under their plan, they'll slash support for seniors in nursing homes while giving away tax breaks to companies that ship our jobs overseas. And what else? American seniors will literally be paying more for their health care and getting less in order to finance additional tax breaks to the wealthiest Americans, also reflected in the Republican budget. A budget is more than just about dollars and cents. It's a statement of our values and our priorities as a nation. This Republican budget does not reflect the values of our great nation. My friends on the other side of the aisle would rather cut benefits to seniors than cut subsidies to big oil companies and big corporations that ship our jobs overseas. They can quarrel with that argument, but these are the choices made in this budget. It ends Medicare as we know it. It slashes fundings for nursing homes. It preserves tax cuts for the richest Americans and makes them even more generous. And it increases our debt. We have a responsibility to honor our commitment to our seniors. And I ask my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, if we can't protect our greatest generation and keep our promise to them, what is next? I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from South Carolina.
Madam Speaker, I yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Woodall.
Gentleman from Georgia is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank my colleague from the Rules Committee for yielding. We've got a good freshman class up there on the Rules Committee, and what we've been able to do under the leadership of Chairman Dreyer is bring open processes to the floor. Can you imagine? Can you imagine we've got a multitude of budgets down here on the floor. If you want to look at the Congressional Black Caucus budget, you can vote for that today. If you want to vote for the Republican Study Committee budget, you can vote for that today. If you want to vote for Mr. Van Hollen's budget, you can vote for that today. You have your choices today about what your priorities are and about what your vision for America's future is. And when we have that conversation, and we've had it in the Budget Committee, I'm proud to be able to serve on both the Rules Committee and the Budget Committee. We've had that on the Budget Committee, an honest back and forth. So it pains me to come to the floor today and hear what can only be described as nonsense. Nonsense. Have you heard anybody on the House floor today say that the Republican budget would change things for seniors? Have you heard that today? I believe you have, because I've heard it over and over again. And the truth of the matter is the Republican budget changes nothing. Nothing for seniors. It says you don't even have to be a senior. If you're age 55 or older, we change nothing in Medicare for you. Nothing. And yet my colleagues on the left are scaring today's seniors, scaring the folks who have the fewest number of choices in our society, scaring them into believing that folks are coming for them. Not true. Our colleagues on the left would say $6,000 is what we're going to charge additional seniors. Well, two things. Number one, again, we're not doing anything for seniors. You've got to be 55 or younger. You've got to be my age to even begin to have a program changed. And more importantly, that $6,000 figure comes from a CBO report looking at things 12 years down the road, which is 2 years after the Medicare program has gone bankrupt entirely. Hear that. Hear that misinformation. $6,000 per beneficiary, a number that comes from a report looking at the program 2 years after our trustees tell us it's going to go bankrupt entirely. Folks, this is about choices. This is about your vision for America. You have to put forward your plan. I applaud Mr. Van Hollen for putting a plan forward. He could have said, no, I don't have any ideas. That's what the White House has chosen to do. Mr. Van Hollen did better. The Congressional Black Caucus did better. The Republican Study Committee did better. Look at these budgets. Look at this open process. Make the choice for you about what you believe a better America would look like. And I will tell you, Wall Street Journal talked about the path to prosperity, called it the most serious attempt at reforming government in a generation. It absolutely is. I applaud Chairman Ryan for getting that done. I thank my friend from South Carolina for the time, and I appreciate the Rules Committee giving us this open process that we have today. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I yield back my time.
Gentleman yields back. The gentlelady from New York is recognized.
I'm pleased, Madam Speaker, to yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Green.
Gentleman from Texas is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And ask you if I was to extend my remarks. My gosh, you must have been a tall fellow here.
Without objection.
I want to thank my colleague from New York for allowing me to speak. The gentleman before me was correct. We have lots of options today, and that's great. We have the Republican budget, we have a Democratic budget, we have a Black Caucus budget, we have a Progressive Caucus budget. We have lots of options. I'm going to talk about the Republican budget. The budget proposal we're debating today is reckless and misguided. It slashes taxes for the wealthy and pays for them by gutting Medicare. Let me explain that. It cuts over $30 billion in the first 10 years and will end Medicare by forcing seniors into private health insurance plans after 2022. They're right. If you're 54 years old now and you have high blood pressure and you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, you won't get Medicare. You'll get a voucher, and insurance companies don't want to cover those of us who may be diabetic or pre-diabetic or have high blood pressure. Medicare, they're waiting to get on Medicare. They're not waiting to get a voucher. It gradually excludes seniors and eventually raising the age to 67 for Medicare. CBO says that in 2022, the Republicans' proposal will more than double the cost paid by Medicare enrollees. We are throwing seniors out of Medicare and into uncertainty of the private insurance market while providing tax breaks to the wealthy, and it doesn't make sense. I also represent the Port of Houston, the 10th busiest port in the world. The port's facing dredging crisis. Ensuring dredging, and it means ensuring jobs. But the Republican budget contains deep cuts in programs like the Army Corps of Engineers. Dredging cannot be funded privately. It has to come from the Corps and the federal government. Hundreds of thousands of jobs, not only in our port of Houston, but also across the country under this plan will be put at risk. There's one high point in the budget, and I commend Chairman Ryan for including language that put NASA on track with the authorization bill Congress passed last year and provide immediate transition for our next generation to human spaceflight once the shuttle missions are concluded. Despite that, I'm unable to support the plan that allows massive cuts for the wealthiest, continues, and pays for them by ending Medicare while neglecting our ports. And, Madam Speaker, I ask you to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection. The gentleman from South Carolina.
I'd ask the gentlewoman, do you have any speakers left?
Indeed. I have one more speaker.
Reserve our time.
The reserves. The gentlelady from New York.
Madam Speaker, I am pleased to yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Massachusetts, Mr. Markey.
The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized for 2 minutes.
I thank the gentlelady. Republicans say their budget is a path to prosperity, but it's really a path to more prosperity for the already prosperous. The Republican budget picks high-rolling oil executives over low-income families. It favors CEOs over senior citizens. It helps the wealthy over the working class. How do Republicans pay for this gigantic goodie bag for the rich? Well, they eviscerate Medicare, turning it into an underfunded vulture program. Medicare becomes Medicare less. End the help seniors need to pay for their medicines. GOP stands for grandmas out of prescriptions. This budget is the same tired tune Republicans have been trotting out for decades. It's play it again, Uncle Sam. In the 1980s, Ronald Reagan tried to slash the social safety net programs. In 2005, President Bush tried to privatize Social Security. And today, the same Republicans are trying to shred the social safety net they've opposed since it was created. It's not just deja vu all over again, it's deja voodoo economics all over again. Vote down this misguided budget so that we can protect Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security now and into the future. Do not let Medicare become Medicare less. We don't want these people who always opposed Medicare, always opposed Social Security, opposed Medicaid as we put it on the books, to now come back and say, we're very courageous. We want to end those programs as we know it, but by the way, where their courage has to be shown, they show none. They will not tax the rich.
Gentleman's time has expired.
They only want to harm the poor.
Gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman from South Carolina.
We reserve.
Gentleman reserves. The gentlelady from New York.
Madam Speaker, may I inquire of my colleague if he has any more speakers? I am prepared to close.
We do
Gentleman
not.
from South Carolina.
All right. Madam Speaker, the Republicans have shown with their budget proposal that they are intent on using the deficit as a pretense to end Medicare. Democrats proposed an amendment in the Budget Committee to protect Medicare, TRICARE for the military, and VA health care from privatization or arbitrary spending caps. The Republicans all voted against it. Democrats tried again in the Rules Committee last night, but the rule does not allow the amendment to be brought to the House floor. Madam Speaker, if we defeat the previous question, I will offer an amendment to the rule to make in order Mr. Tonko's amendment to protect Medicare, TRICARE, and veterans' health care from privatization or spending caps. Madam Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to insert the text of the amendment in the record, along with extraneous material immediately prior to the vote on the previous question.
Without objection.
Madam Speaker, I urge my colleagues to vote no, defeat the previous question so that we can put every House member know where they stand on health care and do they want to end Medicare or not. I urge a no vote on the rule and yield back the balance of my time.
The gentlelady yields back the balance of her time. The gentleman from South Carolina.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Finally, the Democrats, they do get it. What they get is if they do not find a way to scare our senior citizens, they have no chance. When you cover the expenses of running this government, when you think about the fact that what the Democrats have proposed, what President Obama proposed in his original budget, was an increase of $8.7 trillion of new spending, $47 trillion of new spending in the next 10 years, the Democrats have finally found a way to cover their tracks, and it is on the backs of our senior citizens. There is no doubt that the 2012 budget plan that we have proposed simply has no impact, not only on our senior citizens receiving benefits today, but those over the age of 55. Not only are they willing to scare our seniors based on nothing, they want to go to 2 years after Medicare is bankrupt and start having a conversation about numbers when Medicare would not exist under their plan. What we do under our plan is a simple thing. We simply strengthen and preserve Social Security and Medicare for the next generation. We understand that it is time to roll up our sleeves and get serious about preserving the American dream for the next generation. Our budget does that by cutting $6.2 trillion out of the deficit in the next 10 years, by creating more than 1 million jobs in the next 12 months. But we go further. We simply say that you do not create more disincentives or higher taxes in order to improve our economy. Let us do exactly what the previous generation, the greatest generation, has done for us. Pass on to us the American dream in its entirety. We have a responsibility to the next generation to take the tough road today to make the American dream stronger tomorrow. I yield back the balance of my time, and I move the previous question on the resolution.
The question is on ordering the previous question on the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chairs, the ayes have it.
Madam Speaker, on that I ask the yeas and nays.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their vote by electronic device. I'll read this now. Pursuant to Clause 8 and Clause 9 of Rule 20, the 15-minute vote on ordering the previous question will be followed by 5-minute votes on adoption of House Resolution 223, if ordered, and approval of the Journal, if ordered.
It is all about the budget in the House today. First up, the 2011 budget, the continuing resolution funding the federal government through September 30th of this year. The plan hatched and worked out between the President, the Republican Speaker Boehner, and also the Democratic leader Harry Reid. They've been debating the rule, a vote here on the previous question here and a vote on the rule next, and more debate on 2011 ahead. Later today, debate on the 2012 budget. 3 votes in this series. This first one is 15 minutes. Earlier today, in fact, just a short while ago at the Capitol, Democratic leader Pelosi said that she had not yet decided how she's going to vote on the 2011 spending bill on the House floor today. Her comments part of a news conference with the lead Democrat on the House Budget Committee, Representative Chris Van Hollen.
Madam Leader, before
Before you turn to the budget, there's a question of the way we are wrapping up this year's spending. How are you going to vote? And if you're going to oppose it, why are you going against the deal that President Obama and the Democratic leader of the Senate worked out?
Well, I haven't made any statement as to how I would vote, but as was pretty evident, the House Democrats were not a part of that agreement. I'd rather call it an agreement than a deal. It was evident that the Republicans in the House, the Democrats in the Senate, were the two majorities. They were the ones who had the votes, so they had the strength to negotiate, and the President presided over that. I feel no ownership of that or any responsibility to it, except that we don't want to shut down government.
So how are you going to vote?
Well, I'll be consulting with my ranking members to see what impact it has on our Homeland Security, consumer protections. Every domestic initiative in the bill has had a cut from 2010. The defense has had an increase, and tax cuts for the rich are still thriving and well in all of the stuff that is going on here. There's no change in that. So I'll have to make an evaluation when we come up to
Madam Leader, some of the liberal members of your caucus think the President gave away too much in this deal. Do you share that sentiment?
I'm studying it, and I will make an evaluation as I prepare to vote. I'm in consultation with my members. You have to remember that we didn't see this until Monday night or Tuesday morning. It was some of the particulars within subcommittee jurisdictions were not determined until the beginning of this week. So we're making an evaluation about it. But it was very important to keep government open. We all support that.
Madam Leader.
I mean, to that end, though, do you get a sense that there is a very wide swath of your caucus that will vote against this?
No, I don't have any idea.
And do you think that part of that, so you think that's, I mean, how many, a third?
We have not whipped it. We have not encouraged one way or another. People are just making their own judgment about it because it is, you were talking about subjects that people know a great deal about. But they all do want to keep government open. So that will be part of the equities that will be weighed as we make a determination.
And if I can follow up, do you think that some who do vote no, have they told you that they are doing so because of their displeasure with the President? They felt as though they were sold down the river on the tax deal in the fall? And then
No, I haven't heard that at all. It's about the particulars of the bill that is before them. They'll make a judgment about what they believe, and that's how they will vote.
Madam Leader, when you were Speaker, when you brought bills to the floor, typically you had 218 of your own members to bring it across the finish line. Most times, it seemed. Speaker Boehner has relied on Democrats on the Patriot Act, on previous CRs. I mean, could you reflect on that a little bit? What does that mean about his leadership and his caucus, having been in that position before?
Well, every leadership, every caucus is different. He has many new members, and when, as you indicated, we had to keep government open with like 84 Democrats, I think, voted for that first continuing resolution, while 54 Republicans voted against it. But you're just going to have to talk to him about the dynamic within his caucus. What we did, I can speak to what we did, was we came to the floor when we had consensus. There was a lot of collaborative working together, whether it was regional disparities, whether it was philosophical differences, whether it was generational, ethnic, you name it, every difference, because we have a very diverse caucus. And so I call it the giant kaleidoscope. You never know. You have to make sure the design has 218. It makes have certain people one time and other people another time. But we always put the bill together. And that's what we did. You'd have to talk to him about his dynamic.
If the Speaker loses support because of these recent CBO numbers, and it appears that the bill might not have enough votes to make it over the threshold, will you assure that there are enough Democrats to make it pass?
Well, you know, again, we have our own collaboration in our caucus and the respect for each other's thinking that will take us to a place when the vote comes to the floor, and so we'll see. But there was, as is clearly evident, the Speaker spoke for the House of Representatives in those negotiations for his majority. I have always thought that if he didn't have enough votes, if he didn't get to 18 on his own, that there would be Democrats who could help put it over the top. just a question of how big that disparity is. But I think that the fact that many of us have our unease with what is in there should signal to the Republicans that they should probably feel pretty comfortable with the bill.
Madam Leader, is there, if it comes to that, and there are a certain number of Democrats that are needed to push it over the top, is there a price for that, or is it free?
Oh, no. Well, this is about keeping government open. This is about our responsibility to the public.
Yes, but you have leverage in that case.
Hmm?
Yes, but you have leverage in that case.
When you say a price to pay, what do you mean?
Not a price to pay. Is there for your support if you're in a discussion with the Speaker and he needs your help on something very important like this?
Well, I think that kind of a negotiation is something that could have gone on before, so that we could have weighed in on the bill. It's a little late for that, because the bill is what it is. But, you know, I assume they have the votes. They seem pretty confident. I think you sound less confident than they do. They seem pretty confident about what they have, and you know, since it's their product in terms of the House Republicans, they seem pretty confident that they're going to be able to deliver. And so we will see.
Speaker Pelosi, former Speaker Pelosi, Democratic Leader Pelosi, mid-morning today talking about the 2011 spending legislation, which is due on the House floor today. Some preliminary debate has already taken place, and here a procedural vote ahead of the vote on the rules for both 2011 and 2012. They should wrap up work on 2011. Again, this is the spending bill that would take care of federal spending through the end of this fiscal year, through September the 30th. The Hill newspaper, Mike Lillis, writes today on the Senate side, female Democratic senators threatening to oppose the 2011 spending bill if it scales back women's health care services, are not including abortion restrictions in the District of Columbia in their threat. He writes the lawmakers are instead making clear that their support for the proposed continuing resolution hinges largely on the fate of two GOP amendments, one to eliminate funding for Planned Parenthood and the other to repeal the new health care reform law slated for passage in the Senate later today. He also writes that if those two amendments fail, Senator Debbie Stabenow said Wednesday, quote, "I am planning to vote for it." That from the Hill. Earlier today, in fact, when the Senate gavelled in today, Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, Senator Mitch McConnell, had some reaction to the President's proposal yesterday, his debt and deficit plan to cut $4 trillion over the next 12 years. Here's some of what Senator McConnell had to say this morning on the Senate floor.
Yesterday, President Obama outlined what he's describing as a responsible approach to our nation's fiscal problems. And my initial response to that characterization is that with all due respect, Mr. President, with all due respect, the American people are not inclined to take advice on fiscal responsibility from an administration whose unprecedented borrowing and spending has done so much to create the mess that we're in. After 2 years of adding trillions to the debt and ignoring our nation's looming fiscal nightmare, the President may be right in thinking that the politically expedient thing to do is to point the finger at others, but the truly responsible thing would be to admit that his own 2-year experiment in big government has been an unmitigated disaster for the economy and itself a major, major driver of our debt, and that his inaction on the latter is the primary reason others have been forced to step forward and offer meaningful solutions of their own. Now, that's what most people already believe anyway, so the President's attempt to stake out the high ground in this debate was, I suspect, hard for many Americans to swallow. Despite the President's imaginative account of how we arrived at the situation we're in, the American people are well past the point of believing that Washington will be able to make good on all its promises if only we let the President and Democrats raise taxes. Americans know that we face a fiscal crisis not because we tax too little, but because we spend too much. They do not support the reckless Washington spending that has left us with record deficits and debt, and they will not support raising taxes to preserve an unsustainable status quo. Besides, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have already rejected the kind of tax hike on small business that President Obama endorsed again yesterday. So it was counterproductive for him to try to revive it. As for entitlements, the President rightly acknowledged that before we know it, the government will spend every dime it takes in just to cover the cost of Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and the interest on our debt. What he didn't say is that the health care bill he signed last year takes more than $500 billion out of Medicare to pay for an entirely new entitlement that could be just as unsustainable as Medicare itself, and which forces nearly 20 million more Americans into a Medicaid program which, as currently arranged, is bankrupting all of our states. So the President can claim to be a great defender of the social safety net. He may claim to stand for a nobler vision of America than those who disagree with him. But the facts speak for themselves. And when it comes to preserving the social safety net, the President's proposals simply do not address the things that have caused our most cherished entitlement programs to be unsustainable in the first place. Instead, the President would simply tinker around the edges and leave the hard work for others, passing the buck to future presidents, and that just won't cut it anymore. Americans are paying attention. They know the fiscal problems we face will not be solved by continuing the job-destroying policies that got us here. What's more, the centerpiece of the President's proposal, a tax hike on top earners, may sound appealing to those whose primary goal in this debate is to protect big government. But looking at the most recent data, the Wall Street Journal points out this very morning, that even if we were to lay claim to every taxable dollar of every single American who earns more than $100,000 a year, if we laid claim to every taxable dollar of every American who made over $100,000 a year, we still wouldn't raise enough to cover the $1.6 trillion deficit the President's budget gives us this year alone. Take all of the tax money from everybody in America who makes over $100,000 a year. Take it all, Mr. President, and you wouldn't cover the deficit for this year alone. The best way to bring down the debt and to create the climate that will lead to good private sector jobs and prosperity is not to repeat the policies of the past, but to change them. And that means cutting Washington's spending, not squeezing family budgets even more. Throughout the day today, senators will have an opportunity to debate a down payment on those cuts for the rest of the current fiscal year. So I invite them to come to the floor to discuss that proposal. After that, we'll move on to even more far-reaching debate, not about billions, but about trillions. That's the debate that will show Americans exactly where their elected representatives stand on facing up to the fiscal challenges we face. Republicans are looking forward to that debate. And that brings me to a final point. Yesterday, the President said the debate we've been having in Washington about the size and scope of government isn't about numbers on a page. It's about the kind of country we believe in. But he left out an important point, and that is this: that there are a great many people in Washington and beyond who agree with him, but who also believe in their core that the approach he's taken over the past 2 years represents the greatest single threat to the very future he envisions. America will not continue to be a great nation unless we are able to keep our promises to current and future generations and stop spending money we don't have. But the greatest obstacle to that future is not the everyday American who wants Washington to balance its checkbook, or those who look to where the President's policies have gotten us and map out a different path to the future than he would. The greatest obstacle we face is the literally crushing burden of our debt, as the President now admits. Unfortunately, the plan he outlined yesterday does not seriously address it. Americans know the stakes in this debate. They know the reason we're in this situation. It's time the President and the Democrats in Congress acknowledge it as well. The debate has shifted, and while the President doesn't seem to see that quite yet, we will not solve our problems until he stops campaigning and joins us in a serious, bipartisan effort to change not only his tone, but his direction. That's how we'll ensure that the future that he and we envision and want
Well, I'm all set to put me back on if you want to. A series of 3 votes on the House floor. This is a procedural vote ahead of the vote on the rule for the consideration of the continuing resolution. This is the fiscal year 2011 spending bill that will fund the federal government through the end of this fiscal year, September 30th of this year, and 2.5
Resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
Madam Speaker, I request the yeas and nays.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 5-minute vote.
The House now voting on the rule for consideration of both the fiscal year 2011 spending bill, the continuing resolution funding the government through September 30th of this year, also for later consideration of the fiscal year 2012 bill. Ahead, we expect general debate on the 2011 bill. In addition, if the bill passes, and it's expected to pass, members will consider 2 resolutions, one to block the funds to implement the health care laws passed last year, and the other to stop federal funds for Planned Parenthood. That entire package, if it passes and moves through the House, is headed to the Senate later today.
On this vote, the yeas are 240. Mr. McDermott. Mr. McDermott votes no. Ms. Hirono. Ms. Hirono votes no. The yeas are 243, the nays are 181. The resolution is adopted without objection. A motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is the question of agreeing to the Speaker's approval of the journal, which the Chair will put de novo. The question is on agreeing to the Speaker's approval of the journal. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chairs, the ayes have it. The gentleman from South Carolina is recognized.
I ask for the yeas and the nays.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 5-minute vote.
Last vote in this series, a vote on the journal, the official written record of the previous day's activities on the House floor. We can't tell from our vantage point, but it's a safe bet that Representative Justin Amash of Michigan is voting against it. Here's why. Jennifer Steinhauer of the New York Times writes that through April 12th, Mr. Amash, a Republican who represents a swath of southwestern Michigan, has not voted with the majority 25% of the time. He's the most of any House Republican. She writes that he has even voted against the routine matter of approving the journal of the previous day's proceedings because, he says, there's not enough time to read it. And she writes, this is a bit like not clicking, I agree on a hotel Wi-Fi agreement because you don't have time to read the fine print. That from Jennifer Steinhauer of the New York Times. Still ahead on the House floor is general debate on the continuing resolution. The bill funding the federal government through the end of the fiscal year should bring to a close a long time of discussion on 2011 spending, and we get a preview of the debate ahead from a Capitol Hill reporter. Well, after months of negotiations, the House and Senate are poised to approve a spending bill today that will fund the federal government through September. Brian Friel of Congressional Quarterly is with us. Will it pass the House today with a majority of the majority?
Well, it's definitely expected to pass, but it's looking more likely that it will pass with both Republican and Democratic support. So, you know, up to 50 Republicans, possibly more, could vote against the measure, which means that the Democrats will have to make up the difference to hit the 218 number.
Well, the head of the Republican Study Committee, Jim Jordan, expressing early opposition to this. So is that garnering more backing?
The problem that the bill faces right now is it got a score from the Congressional Budget Office, which suggests that once you look at how much money will actually be spent this year, the reduction will only be $352 million, as opposed to the $39.9 billion that the congressional leaders in the White House have been talking about. That number is based on what's called budget authority, and leaders are saying, well, if you use those numbers and look out over the next decade, this bill will save $315 billion. So they're trying to convince conservatives that this bill will save money. It's significant, but some think that it's not.
Well, what about on the Democratic side in terms of passage? Will Speaker Boehner need more support from Democrats than he might have thought in the past?
Well, because of those numbers, he might see a steeper decline in the number of supporters on the Republican side. But there are a lot of Democrats who are not too pleased with this bill either, because it cuts programs that they favor, and also it doesn't address any tax programs which they think should be part of any deal that moves toward deficit reduction.
What can you tell us about both the timetable and prospects for passage in the Senate?
The Senate is hoping to get a head start on its 2-week Easter recess tonight. So as soon as it passes the House, which is expected around 4 or 5 o'clock, the Senate will try and take it up as quickly as possible and get it done this evening.
What about these so-called enrollment correction resolutions that are part of the debate also coming up for votes today? Why are they necessary?
House Speaker Boehner really pushed in these negotiations for a ban on federal funding of Planned Parenthood clinics and also to block funding for the implementation of the health care law that was passed last year. As a compromise, the negotiators agreed to have the Senate vote on those two measures. So the House will first pass these enrollment resolutions that would do that. Then they'll move to the Senate where those two measures will face 60-vote margins, and because Democrats control the Senate, they'll be able to knock both of those efforts out of the bill and then send the rest of the measure on to the President for a signature.
Brian Friel of Congressional Quarterly covering the debate on 2011 spending. Thank you for that update.
Thank you.
General debate ahead on 2011 spending, as well as those two resolutions discussed there by Brian Friel. David Hawkins of CQ writes today that the only suspense on this bill, on the vote, is how many conservative Republicans vote against their Speaker and how many liberal Democrats vote against their President. Debate ahead on the House floor.
Does any member wish to change their vote? On this vote, the yeas are 310 and the nays are 106 with
Ms. Eddie Bernice Johnson of Texas. Ms. Eddie Bernice Johnson of Texas votes aye.
On this vote, the yeas are 311, the nays are 106, with 2 answering present. The journal stands approved. The House will be in order. Members will take their seats. Members will clear the well. For what purpose does the gentleman from South Carolina seek recognition?
Madam Speaker, I send to the desk a privileged